there was a guy on Twitter I saw tweet this out, and we've seen things like this before plenty of times. I'm sure you have if you're listening, but it was a fantasy football punishment, and it was from like a couple days ago, but he said he was waiting to go do this. I think Bleacher Report picked it up and retweeted it. He had to go to McDonald's for 24 hours. And, you've seen this where it's like, okay, they go to a
Waffle House.
Right, Waffle House, and every waffle you eat takes an hour off, and you have to be there for 24 hours.
Yeah.
But these guys made an entire cheat sheet of each menu item and how many minutes it took off. So every single menu item had a specific amount of, they went to a big extent to do this.
Funny, yeah.
And so, he's like consulting people on what to do. And so I was reading it, and one of the ones I noticed was, McDonald's has those hash brown like sticks. They're like one, if you go to Whataburger, they're like 5 little mini hash browns.
You're just talking about the old school hash browns from McDonald's.
Yeah, they have one. It's one big one.
It's one hash brown, yeah.
And so that was 25 minutes. And so I was thinking in my head, I was like, okay, I just eat like 53 hash browns because that was the most doable thing on there. And then I saw he tweeted out something like, I'm getting consultation that I should just eat hash browns only. But then I just was alerted that I can only eat up to 17 hash browns, back to the drawing board. And so I was looking at it like the big breakfast was 120 minutes. That's like 3 hotcakes, a biscuit, eggs, and a sausage patty. That's 120. So I would eat that, probably would go with the 17 hash browns. That would put me at like, I think 9 hours between the two. Each order of medium fries was 30 minutes. This was a tough one. You're going to be there for at least 12 hours, if not longer.
No matter what.
No matter what, because it's just you're just not going to be able to eat that much. You have to definitely go in. Like, I wouldn't eat dinner the night before, or unless they let me start at dinner, I would probably do that. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
That is actually really, that's a good one. I think in those punishments too, you got to take it a step further where it's like, you can contact loved ones, but you shouldn't be allowed to use the internet when you say
that. Yeah.
You should just record yourself and be like, no internet. We had someone get out of the neighborhood one in my other brother, Trey's neighborhood. You're supposed to, it's great. Everybody's done it so far, but the guy who lost this year didn't want to do it, won't name names. And his punishment, I think he's getting off real easy. He's got to eat a crazy, I know they're hot, but like a crazy hot wing from and we're not talking about like the sauces you get online that'll like kill you. We're talking about like the fire sauce from Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, I know they're hot, but it's like he's going to make it. Like every other round he has to eat that. But typically you have to do a lemonade stand in the front of the neighborhood in a dress and you have to get a certain amount of money. And it's great. Like this year, dude, when I was in the toilet bowl in that league, I told you, it's like, God, I hope I'm not dead
I remember
last,
that. You were really hoping.
Everybody would really, really have loved to just bash on me for fucking 3 hours in the front of the neighborhood out there.
Because it was somewhat of a keeper league, right? And you kind of got stuck with a guy already.
I started with a bad roster. I also drafted, this is going to blow you guys away at home, really drunk. It was a 7 p.m. draft on a Friday night, which I said if I could change one thing about the league, it'd be a 10 a.m. draft Saturday morning.
Oh, because you have to be sober.
Yes, exactly. I said win the league.
I don't know if you'd be completely sober, but close to it.
But yeah, and they put me at a disadvantage doing these. They know what they're doing. Friday night, Smart. Saturday night late. Yeah. The guys that don't drink are like, oh, this is easy money right here. And you get half of us showing up from what used to be Conroy's there, and now it's the Roost. But yeah, so fantasy football punishments are great.
Carl's league, when he was in college, was a punishment league. So what they would do is whoever got first had no punishment. And so say there was 10 people in the league, there were 9 punishments. And so whoever got second got to pick their punishment, and then third picked from the remaining 8, and so forth all the way down. So whoever was last got stuck with the worst one.
Oh, so
everybody who didn't win had a punishment.
Okay, so everybody that didn't get first has to, but some of them are probably not bad at all.
Exactly. So if you get second, third, fourth, you don't have that bad of a punishment. But if you're 8th or 7th, you kind of get stuck with a real bad one. It just brought up a question of like I was curious, like if you could think of any other ones, what's the funniest, worst, or best fantasy football punishment you've seen? Let us know in the comments below what the best one you've seen is. I was gonna say, obviously there's some obvious ones like the Waffle House one where you eat a waffle every hour. We talked about that. Tattoo or nipple piercing of if you lose.
Fuck that. I don't even think I would agree to that one.
That's the only one where I probably wouldn't agree. I've seen the Buffalo Wild Wing ones where you have to eat, 10 of the hottest wings there. I did see another one that was really funny on a Reddit post last night, and of course it triggered some people to be like, "Oh my god, how dare you! Please don't do this one." But it was you have to go to church with a blow up sex doll and sit next to her the entire mass.
Oh my gosh!
And sit there the entire mass, and when you stand up, you have to hold her up. Actually, they didn't even say blow up sex doll because they have some very advanced sex dolls nowadays. It would actually be a lot funnier if you had to dress a real one up.
That's awful.
That would be a silicone one.
Oh my gosh! It's a family-friendly show. My God. Oh my Lord.
Do you have any that you've seen?
The other funny one that I think when you go back to piercings, is that one's horrible but hilarious, is the I would think, because if you got a piercing right here, I know that like once it's not in there, it closes up like just a normal piercing. I think I want to add to the punishment that you have to get a gold cross Barry Bonds earring that you have to wear for a month.
I like that.
That was Ryan Whitney's punishment against Biz last year, where he's like, I hate that earring. And Biz is like, yeah, you got to wear it for a month.
I like that. No, that makes it
That would
fair.
be a funny one. Also going back to the neighborhood one. So you had to do the lemonade stand. And then
that's a good one.
The guy was a good sport, though. Also with it, there's a double punishment. Your everyday driver that you're in, you have to put a pink license plate cover on it with unicorns that says "I suck at fantasy football," and you have to drive that for the whole year. So that's pretty.
So
funny
that's
too.
all he did. He didn't do the lemonade stand. He just put.
No, he's doing the wings thing or whatever.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But I think
that was nice of y'all to let him go. I would have been.
I think that's getting off easy. There were some people that weren't happy about it because like everybody else is like, yeah, we'll do it. But the rule is that you can take pictures of like the people at the front of the neighborhood, but you can't like post it all over social media.
Right.
Like, you can keep it, but so that's why I was like, man, you could do it. Like, what does it matter if?
Yeah. Well, don't be in the league if you're not willing to do it.
That was an argument from a lot of people. Too.
I'm just saying, if it were my league, I would probably kick the person out. I'm not saying I'm not saying y'all should have, but I'm just saying I probably would have. Now that said, it's hard to say because like if it was somebody like you and you were like, no, I'm not doing it, I wouldn't kick you out of the league. So I can't say that I would. But
yeah, but you would know that like if everybody agreed to it at the beginning, I would do it. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
I know. That's what I'm saying. I agree. Yes.
But yeah.
The only other funny one I saw, and we'll move on, was we had to go perform at an open mic night at a comedy club while the rest of the league gets to watch and heckle you.
I think they did that on Part of My Take did that to Hank. I think he had to go up there and do it for getting like dead last and something. And they would just heckle him and he was horrible. Like they brought people to the show that thought Hank actually did it for like, and they're like, this is the worst thing I've ever, people would get up and leave. Like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
I mean, I would just go up there and purposely be bad. Maybe they would think it was funny because of that.
I know there's another one that they did. I like this topic. This is good. We spent a lot of time on this. We had to move on, but it's you had to bowl 300, but the rule was every hot dog you ate gave you 5 pence.
Oh man, that's not a lot of pins there.
It was like I think they started with 5 and they're like, okay, we suck. We need 10 pins. Maybe it was 10 pins. So you basically had to eat 10 dogs and bowl 200 or 12 dogs and bowl 180. And you couldn't leave until there was like no time. So like you sat there eating hot dogs. I was like, that's a good one too.
That is a good one.
Because you're going to get more tired as it goes on. If you were smart, you just sit there and try to hammer 10 dogs as quick as you could.
Yeah.
And then, started bowling from that point.
Our fantasy league that we're in, it's a dynasty league with 8 of us who have been in it. Well, 6 or 7 of us who have been in it forever. We're kind of cycling to a new person here. Thanks, Carl Stevens. But I love you, Carl. But the one I liked on there the only one, like looking at these, Patrick and Ryan would never do some of this shit. They wouldn't be in the league if they had to. But the one that I thought would be funny would be, there was one that said you had to get a fat head of whatever the first place guy wanted you to get it of, and then you had to put it in your house for a year wherever they wanted. And I like that one because that would be something that I think everybody would probably agree to, because it would be a funny story to explain to people who came over to your house, and it's not going to cause you to like get a tattoo or like waste a whole day at McDonald's or whatever. So I like that one.